This is the blue version of the monster. This is what's actually going to go through the sugar glass windscreen. Have to worry about a nice gloss finish, as long as it's blue.
Basically, blue is a colour that doesn't appear in natural flesh tones. The computer picks and can just cut it out and cut the person out and stick them on top.
Okay, a little rehearsal.
Jamie saves time by rehearsing the scene where Connor is being attacked by a new species, the future predator.
Our logic was, if anomalies go into the past, why shouldn't they come from the future too? So we created this character, this predator, or what we call the future predator.
The starting point for Future Predator was, if mankind dies out, what creatures will start to thrive?
It's like a cross between a bat and a rat.
It's a hugely evolved creature, which we suggest in the show might even be the creature that takes over from humanity as the dominant species on Earth.
If you said man died out, what takes over? Could probably be mammals, especially if the climate stays the same. And if it's mammals, it would likely to be a rat or a bat.
I think it's an incredibly difficult thing to do when somebody says, OK, invent a creature from the future, would you please?
The brief was, it ran on 4 limbs, but it had the ability to stop and rear up and free up its front limbs, a bit like a gorilla, basically. It had to be unusual and quite sinister without looking too fantasy, without completely science fiction, otherworldly look. You recognise what something's thinking through their eyes usually, and when there's no eyes to look at, you don't know what it's thinking, which makes it all the more strange. These 2 images on the right were the initial design. Because the verbal brief was so specific, we almost hit the nail on the head straight away in that the general body form was right. But what Tim wasn't quite happy with is the head. So it went from a quite classic dinosaur head to a really quite unusual, slightly human, slightly skull-like, and therefore quite scary, more unusual looking head.
I kind of saw it on the page when Jamie Payne, the director, showed and said, this is what we've come up with, and I kind of went, oh, goodness, you know, because it looks terrific, and it looks, you know, it's everything I kind of hoped it would be, because it looks like it could actually be a proper animal.
What can I say?
It just broke down. It's an occupational hazard. It hasn't happened to me in 15 years of working in the film industry.
And action.
Connor gets into the car. He picks up the oscilloscope. Nothing on it. It starts to move. He looks around. He can't see anything. He can't see anything. He hears something on the roof of the car, looks up, closes the door quietly. The audience sees the head of the future predator come behind him, looking down the back window screen, and then disappear. We then pull through the window to show the audience car with no creature, so the audience don't know where it's coming from, he doesn't know where it's coming from. And at that moment, it smashes through the screen. The future predator pushes through, and it's so big that it can't get beyond the seats, and Connor's in the back seat. He gets out the back door. It's flailing around inside the car, so there's going to be a lot of shots to make the sequence work. But from a directing point of view, it's very exciting to be given the opportunity of saying things like, you know, I would never sit on a normal show and go, OK, we can pull out, go through the glass, come out, and then the creature is gone, and then it appears. And that's one of the most exciting things about Primeval.
Action.
No picture.
.391, take 1.
And action.
I hit the camera guy.
Connor's wardrobe is one of the most interesting things about him, I think. Stephen Hart is the big macho one. He feels like he has to compete a bit, so he wears his bulky clothes, but now I'm suffering because it's red hot and it's kind of hard working when it's so hot.
While Jamie is shooting, the creation of the future predator continues. The next stage is to make a clay model.
And Darren produced a concept drawing, which I've got here, which was the basis on which we proceeded, really. So this is what we produce. Often parts are cut off, legs and arms are taken away to make the laser scanner able to get into all the folds and creases and what have you. And the jaws drop away as well, so that they can be scanned. The mouth interior can be scanned as well. So yeah, it is nice that those traditional techniques of sculpting and moulding and casting to produce real 3D models which we hand over. It's really nice that this still exists, and maybe there'll come a time where the technology it's not required, but at the moment it's still the very traditional techniques that are being employed, really.
The sculpture is then taken into our scanning department in the basement and scanned at very high resolution. I think the highest resolution anyone can scan.
When I saw the creature, I thought, fantastic. This is a really beautiful model for us to scan because it's reasonable size, it's a good texture. White things are quite easy to scan as opposed to dark objects. Coming out of here is a laser stripe, and we just slowly swipe it across the object like so, and that'll pick up all the detail, hopefully.